My friends, so here we are. We are now talking about FICA tax example, as I mentioned before. So, as a reminder, FICA is comprised of both Medicare and Social Security. And whether we like it or not, we all pay FICA taxes as employees, right? So, how it works is that our employer, who we work for, the business we work for, the organization that we work for, what they do is every time we generate a paycheck, right, we work and, give our time in exchange for, a paycheck or services. What happens is we get paid, and before we get our direct deposit or our check mailed to us, our employer, our organization is withholding federal taxes, state taxes, Medicare, Social Security out of our check on our behalf. They're holding it on our behalf and they're paying it out to the government, right? Otherwise, if you were a small business owner or self-employed, you would have to withhold it for yourself and then pay it to the government. No one gets a pass at taxes, right? Everyone has to pay taxes, okay? So let's go through this example. So it says, assume that John T. McGrath earnings for the week ending December 27th is $1,462. And a total FICA tax to be, what is the total FICA tax to be withheld? Now in this screen, you should see how they're calculating it. So when we are calculating FICA tax, it's always based on the gross amount, right? So we said in a prior slide that a Social Security tax rate was 6%. And so the way we're going to come up with how much the FICA tax is going to be is we're going to take his gross pay times the 6%. And so the Social Security tax is at $87.72. Now, we also must pay the Medicare tax rate as well, which that is 1.5% in our textbook right now, okay? And so again, that 1.5% is multiplied times the gross pay, okay? And so that amount comes out to $21.93. So given our total gross pay earnings, or John T. McGrath's gross pay of $1,462, that amount is subject to a total FICA tax of $109.65. We are all under the same thing. We all are doing going through the same example, okay? All right. So with that, what I would like to do before I go into employer payroll, I would like to go through an example. So if you're following along, we are now doing example number 3, okay, in the handout. Okay, so it says in example number 3, we have Lindsay Baders. Her weekly gross earning for the week ending March 9 is $1,000, and her federal income tax withholding was $161.20. Assume that Social Security tax rate is 6% and Medicare tax rate is 1.5% of all earnings. What is Lindsay's net pay? So to start off, what I would like to do is kind of write out the formula. So the formula should be our gross pay less any deductions, and the difference will give us our net pay, okay, or our take-home pay. All right, so in this example, our gross pay is $1,000, or according to Lindsay, okay? Now, our federal income tax that we must subtract out is a total of $161.20. We must also subtract out Social Security, and we must take out Medicare. All right, so we need to calculate what each of those amounts are. So again, our Social Security tax rate is 6%. So SSI, that rate is 6%, and it's multiplied times our gross pay. So we're going to calculate that. So we're going to do 6% times our gross pay of $1,000, and that should come out to $60. So check your math, make sure you do it. And again, that should come out to $60. Okay, so that is also a deduction. So I'm going to put that $60 here. But also we must calculate what is our Medicare tax rate, which is 1.5%. So I'm going to just make this a little bit smaller so I have space. All right, and so our Medicare tax rate is 1.5%. And that's going to be times our gross pay, as we've seen in the prior example. So for us, we're going to do 0.015, that's 1.5%, times our gross pay of $1,000. And that comes out to times 1,000. And that should come out to $15. Okay. So we're going to subtract out $15. So once we do that, so our gross pay here is $1,000, and then we have to subtract out our federal income tax, which is $161.20, and then we have to subtract out our Social Security, which is $60, and then we must also subtract out our Medicare, which is $15, and that all comes out to $763.80. Okay, so hopefully you got the same answer as I did. I'm going to check my math just one more time, just to make sure I'm on the right track. Okay, so yes, that's what I come up with. So hopefully you got that same answer. So take a second. You have a homework question, I think, that looks like this. So take a second, go through that, and let me know if you have any questions, okay?